GS score,
GS score, GS score,
GS score,
GS score, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score है, GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score,
GS score.
GS score.
Good afternoon. Priyanshu, Purva, everyone. So we are going to start mains advance from today for 2024. For this year mains. Well, Shiv sir will start, but let me introduce certain things and then we will start the formal teaching. So the first point, if you look at main examination, the main examination, about the good thing about the main examination is its predictability. Mains examination is predictable. If you are prepared well, number one, prepared well simply means the conceptual clarity is good, and then if your expression is good, then the chances are very high. But the question is, why I say that predictability is high always. Even if you look at the previous year's question paper, entire paper you won't find more than 5 questions which is unheard. मतलब जिसे आप लोग कहते हो अपनी भाषा में ऊपर से निकल गए, ऐसे questions बहुत कम होते हैं. That kind of questions you always face in preliminary examination. The reason is preliminary examination is all about the stage of rejection. The whole sole motto is rejection. Number kam karo. And from main examination, its real selection starts because here the marks matters. Marks ka ही तो खेल है ना इसमें आपका selection rejection. But the point is, when I say predictability, predictability lies in identifying the themes. Themes. So, if you scan carefully the entire syllabus, it's very much possible to identify the themes around which you can prepare. You can prepare comfortably. You can comfortably and most of the questions you can answer. So, I am using the word theme rather than I am using the word topic or anything else. So, when you say theme always moves around, or you can extract the themes, you can create themes. It also depends upon the maturity either of the faculty or the students, etc. That how do you identify the themes? Themes is not simply about the PYQ certain questions. Theme is basically the pillar around which one or two, you can say, certain things moves. For example, जैसे ethics की अगर मैं बात करूँ, तो अगर आप पहला यूनिट देखो तो पहला यूनिट में जो मेजर थीम है दैट इज मॉरल रीजनिंग. इट्स नॉट गिवन इन योर सिलेबस, लेकिन थीम वही है. अगर आप उस थीम को समझ लेते हैं तो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस बहुत केयरफुली और बहुत कंफर्टेबली आप कर पाएंगे. बट एनीवे, सो व्हेन यू से थीम ऑलवेज इज अराउंड द कॉन्सेप्ट जो आपका एस्थेटिक पार्ट है. ऑलवेज डू रिमेंबर, आपका सिलेक्शन होना नहीं होना यहीं पे. The reason is if you are conceptually not very sound, then you cannot do anything. बाकी बातचीत का कोई सेंस ही नहीं है. Because whatever you do top of it. You do top of it. So, Shalini, Ujma, Ayush, whatever questions you can ask, you have to ask, you can ask later. Let me finish first. So, static. Now, there are two things. Top of it, you will get the PYQ. Now, PYQ is great source to identify the themes. In the sense, उससे आपको ये समझ में आता है concept to context की journey है क्या, कैसे move करती है ये. And the second is basically the updation. What we are going to do, in the sense, we are going to take 1.5 years issues. हम लोग इसके issues को identify किया है और ये काफ़ी है updation करने के लिए. 1.5 year के इश्यूज को. तो जो बुकलेट आपको दी जा रही है, अगर आप उसको एक बार फिलिप भी कर लें और स्टैटिक पार्ट से कोरिलेट कर दें, दो इन द क्लास दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन, तो उतना आपके लिए काफ़ी होगा. फाइन. Now, so the whole idea is basically to identify in the main advanced class is basically identify the themes and then do forward backward linkages. Forward backward in the sense कि themes के around concept हम कैसे build करेंगे और इसको हम डायनेमिक पार्ट से लिंक कहाँ कहाँ पे कर सकते हैं, कौन कौन से एरियाज हैं जहाँ पे हम कर सकते हैं, कौन से एरियाज हैं जहाँ पे अभी उस तरह की डेवलपमेंट नहीं है, उसको हम स्किप कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ द टाइम ऑल्सो. नाउ इन द इंटायर एंड देन इट कम्स द एक्सप्रेशन मीन्स आंसर राइटिंग. So what we are going to do, we'll do daily identification of the theme, understanding it, updation, and almost daily practice. So with that, a steady progress is happening. It's very slow. Always do remember. तुम चाहे जो भी कर लो, answer writing is always slow. It's a slow process. Improvement is always gradual, incremental. वो slow ही होगा. वो slow ही होगा. तो इसलिए इसमें कोई परेशान होने वाली बात नहीं है. आप स्लोली आप अपना लेके चलो ये इसको. माय फाइनल वर्ड्स एंड देन शिव सर विल स्टार्ट. इज ए फैंटास्टिक फैकल्टी ऑफ हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल and then takes care of GS part also. So my last point is basically what you are supposed to do is one and only one thing, that you should acknowledge your strength. Generally मैंने कभी स्टूडेंट को acknowledge of your strength. Generally मैंने स्टूडेंट्स को ये देखा कि वो कभी भी acknowledge नहीं करते हैं. If you are good in certain areas or if you are improving, you are improving. You are not improving because of anyone else. What is mean by acknowledgement or acknowledging the things? It simply means, suppose you have to 70 days, you have to go for 0 to 100%. Now anyone who is writing now, it's very difficult to understand कि वो 0 पे होगा. Means जो लिख रहा है वो 0 पे कैसे होगा? हो ही नहीं सकता. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं उसकी प्रिपरेशन यार 50% तो होगी. कुछ तो पढ़ा होगा ना उसने, ठीक है. और 100% जैसी कोई चीज होती नहीं है. There is nothing called perfect preparation sort of thing. So my point is basically you need to understand that there are very small areas where you are supposed to work and improve. Rest of the areas you have to work and again improve. But the gray area is less. इसलिए बहुत ज्यादा पेन में रहने की जरूरत नहीं है कि मेरा ये बचा हुआ, मुझे ये करना है, ऐसा करना. नो 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 नो. इट्स सिंपली योर एक्नॉलेजमेंट. एक प्रोसेस को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, मेथड को आइडेंटिफाई करना है. रेस्ट एवरीथिंग विल हैपन ग्रेजुअली. डोंट वरी फॉर दैट. तो पैनिक में बिल्कुल नहीं रहना. पैनिक में बिल्कुल नहीं रहना. जैसे मैं एक लड़की है, हो गया उसका सिलेक्शन, मलिका, काफी साल पहले की बात है. उसकी कॉपी अगर साइट पे देखोगे ना तो मेरे हैंडराइटिंग में सिर्फ इतना लिखा हुआ है कि एक्सेलेंट, देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ रिमार्क. बहुत लोगों को लगेगा ये क्या कॉपी करेक्शन का तरीका. मैं हूं ना, मेरे हैंडराइटिंग है. आई कैन शो कि व्हाट इज मीन बाय इट. सिंपली मीन्स यू आर रेडी टू राइट मीन्स टुमारो मॉर्निंग. तुमने एक लेवल ऑफ प्रिपरेशन अचीव कर लिया ना. मुझे तुम बोलो तो 20-25 पेज का मैं कमेंट दे दूं, विल इट सर्व द पर्पस? नो. इफ यू आर रेडी, यू आर रेडी. दिस इज व्हाट दिस इंटरेक्शन मीन्स. ये पूरे इंटरेक्शन का पर्पस ही यही है, टू हेल्प यू टू एलिवेट एंड अंडरस्टैंड कि हाँ एक लेवल पे हमारी प्रिपरेशन पहुंच गई है. सो बेसिकली द होल आइडिया इज टू हेल्प यू टू डू दिस ओनली, टू अंडरस्टैंड द थीम, do the backward forward linkages so that you understand its application, etc. Then do the answer writing and at the same time help you to acknowledge where you have reached. So this is what the whole idea is. Gri Prabhu, are you not getting the voice? एक बार देख लेना यार. So anyway, so I request now Shiv sir to start. Shiv sir will start from art and culture, and then you have already got the schedule of the 30 days. In 30 days, we are going to touch each and everything, means each and everything. So as far as this part is concerned, don't worry for that. For you can say optional and all, you take care. Rest we will take care. Just do with us, practice with us. जहाँ जहाँ पे भी आपको लगता है कि गैप आ रहा है, इमीडिएटली बात करो सारे फैकल्टी से. थैंक यू. शिव सर.
good afternoon everyone. I hope I am audible to all of you. Am I audible? Okay. 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 Am I audible? Audible, everyone? Okay. Now, in this session, I will take art and culture, and from tomorrow, RP sir is going to take the polity. Now, so when we talk about just give us a few seconds. Fine. ठीक है, बंद कर दो. So, again in this lecture I am going to discuss the art and culture, as I said. Now, before I am going to begin with the art and culture, there are few basic things we have to remember. Now, what I am going to cover in the class: first, I will talk about the basic about art and culture, because many of the aspirants, they lack the clarity with respect to art and culture. So, I will talk about basic. Second, as we know, previous year questions, they are very important to prioritize your syllabus in the art and culture. So, I will discuss the previous year question, right? This is what I will do. And in the third part, I am going to discuss certain advanced topic with respect to the art and culture. All good. So, the entire lecture is going to be divided into these three parts. First, I will deal with the basic of art and culture. Then I will discuss the previous year question, and then I am going to talk about the certain advanced topic that can be important in the mains examination. Am I clear? Fine. Okay. If anyone have any doubt, you can write in the chat box as well. Fine. Now, first important question. Let's cover the basic. What is the difference between, now many aspirants do not know, what is the difference between ancient and medieval which is art and culture. Many of the aspirants, they get confused between the art and culture and the ancient and the medieval. So again, they they actually prepare for the ancient and medieval. That is wrong. Ancient and medieval is only relevant for the preliminary. It is relevant just for the preliminary. Art and culture for both preliminary and the mains. What is the difference? So when we talk about ancient and medieval, in ancient and medieval, we cover the political history. We cover political history. We cover economic history. We cover social history. We cover religious history. And so on. Okay. When we talk about art and culture, understand this point. Art and culture, in art and culture, we do not cover political history. So political history is not important to us, and also the economic history is also not very much important. So therefore, what is art and culture? In art and culture, we cover social history. Social history means what was the condition of social life during that time period. Okay, and then we cover religious history. Religious history, like Bhakti movement. We can also talk about, we also cover the cultural history, art and cultural history. So this is the first important understanding that aspirant need to have. There's a difference between the ancient and medieval. There's a difference between the art and culture. So when I talk about ancient and medieval, you have to cover many things. But ancient and medieval, understand, is only relevant from the pre-point of view. On the other hand, art and culture, again, pre as well as mains. So do not prepare the ancient and medieval for mains. That is the, I hope now the basic point is clear. Fine. So this is the first point I wanted to highlight. Second point I want to highlight here, syllabus. Again, syllabus is very, very important, right? So exactly what is the syllabus we have? So if we divide the syllabus, we have three parts: visual arts, that is the arts which we can see, all good. Then we have performing arts. We have performing arts like the arts which can be performed like dance and music. And then we have miscellaneous. In miscellaneous, we have many things. Two important topic here is the religion and philosophy, very important topic. And then we have the literature. And the recent topic that is becoming important is the development of science and technology. Science and technology. All good? So entire syllabus of art and culture could be divided into three parts: visual arts, like architecture, sculpture, and so on. Performing arts, the arts which need to be performed like dance and music. And then we have miscellaneous. In miscellaneous, we have religion and the philosophy, very important from mains, literature, science and technology. All good? So when we talk about miscellaneous, understand this point. When we talk about miscellaneous, this is important from the mains point of view, very, very important. And when we talk about visual arts, in visual arts, again, this is important to us. All good? Performing arts is comparatively not important from the mains point of view. We have very few questions from the performing arts. I hope now this point is clear, also very much clear to all, right? Fine? Is this clear? So we have discussed difference and then we have discussed this syllabus. Fine. Now, again, I will discuss the PIQ, previous year question, and previous year question will help us to understand the nature of question. Nature of question. Now, there is a, very important topic, like, now understand. See, can you prepare all the topics? The answer is no. And now you will say, sir, how can you say we cannot prepare all the topic? Again, on the basis of the previous year question. Now, what do you mean by that? See, we have two types of the question. First, we have specific question. What is specific question? Okay. For example, let's take the example here. You have prepared the Gandhara art, for example. Gandhara art is one of the important topic. Okay. Suppose you have prepared the Gandhara art and now you have the question on the Gandhara art. So इसको हम लोग कहेंगे specific. मतलब ये theme based question होते हैं, you know. So this is basically theme based question. And this is what actually we prepare. You know, whatever notes making we do, we prepare the theme based question. You know, for example, Bhakti pe kiya, architecture pe हमने, you know. So that is what we call as a specific question. So we have theme based question. You know, whatever you have prepared, you know, that will come into the exam. And this is comparatively easy to write. Second type of question that is going to be little bit different, difficult. It is called a general question. General question basically means, see, it is not a, you know, not directly based on theme. Okay. It is not based on the theme and it depends on your concept clarity, or we can say it you know, how will you write this question. It is depend on your answer writing, you know, first understanding and second answer writing skills. Answer writing skills. All good? So, you know, to write the general question, you require the understanding, you require the answer writing skills, because nobody can prepare you that kind of question. Just to give you idea, for example, they will say, just, you know, ancient literature, just a brief idea. Ancient literature highlight the social condition of ancient time. Okay. Now, obviously such question is difficult to prepare. You know, so how to write this? This is what we call as a general question, right? So when we talk, now I hope now this point is clear. It is not based on any theme. It is general, which covers, you know, many dimensions, many topic. Okay. So like ancient literature, society of, you know, Gupta period, society of post Maurya. So again, this is very general question. And when we talk about art and culture, very important point is we have mostly general question. Okay. So if you lack the understanding, if you lack the answer writing skills, it will be difficult to perform very good marks in the art and culture. I hope now this point is clear. So, you know, what is the nature of question? We have two types. Specific, easy to write because you have prepared. This is the key to success. This is the key to get very good marks in the UPSC. Am I clear? Am I clear? Quickly write it down. Geographical factor that lead to the development of ancient India, that was basically, it was not the ancient India, it was the India. It affected, you know, various evolution. That was, we can say, a general question based on the history, not culture or geographical history, as you pointed out, Krishna. All good? Fine? So, is this clear? So, we have covered basic about art and culture. I hope basic is clear. First, second and the third point. All good? Let's move on. Let's talk about PIQ. Second important. Let's see exactly what question were asked by the UPSC till date. Because this question will, you know, why PIQ is important? It will help us to prioritize, you know, what to prepare and what not to prepare. Because in UPSC, very important is what not to prepare. If we understand the PIQ well, we understand how to prepare. Fine? Okay. Now, Let's go through the PIQ. First, as I said, the first topic which we have to cover, visual arts. Like if we talk about division, further division, we have architecture, painting and the sculpture. It covers 3 areas in the syllabus: architecture, painting and the sculpture. All good? So let's begin with the architecture and the sculpture. Question that is based on the architecture and the sculpture. This is very important part of our syllabus. Generally we have one question from the architecture or the sculpture. Okay, so it's a very important part of our syllabus. When we talk about architecture, now understand, when we talk about architecture, what is the syllabus we have to prepare? The development of architecture in ancient India, right? The development of architecture in the medieval India, right? And the development of architecture in the modern India, right? This is the topic we have to prepare. What was the development of architecture in ancient India? For example, we can talk about first Indus Valley civilization. What was the development during the Indus Valley? Then Maurya, right? So मौर्य के समय पे क्या डेवलपमेंट हुआ, राइट? एंड देन गुप्ता पीरियड. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से इसको ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे. नाउ देन मेडाइवल, व्हाट वाज द डेवलपमेंट ड्यूरिंग द दिल्ली सल्तनत? अंडरस्टैंड? व्हाट वाज द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर ड्यूरिंग द दिल्ली सल्तनत? चोलास, विजयनगर एंड मुगल्स. This is our syllabus, right? So again, what was the architectural development during the Delhi Sultanate, during the Cholas, during the Vijayanagar and the Mughals? Particularly the development of architecture during the Vijayanagar is very important. Temple architecture. All good? And then modern India, we have 2 types of the architecture. One is the Roman architecture and then we have called as a Indo-Gothic. Comparatively they are not, they are not that much important. यहाँ से क्वेश्चन आने के चांसेस ना के बराबर है. ठीक है, मोस्टली द क्वेश्चन विल बी बेस्ड ऑन द एंशिएंट एंड द मेडाइवल. ऑल गुड? Syllabus is clear? All good? Now, second, understand when we talk about architecture, actually we begin with the rock cut architecture. What is rock cut architecture? Cave architecture is an example of rock cut architecture. Basically you cut the mountain, you create certain architecture. That is what we call as a rock cut architecture. So we have rock cut architectural and then we have structural architecture. For example, we have temple architecture. Temple architecture is an example of structural architecture. Okay. Temple architecture is an example of structural architecture. Okay. Now understand, sometime the question is also going to be based on the either rock cut architecture or the structural architecture. For example, they can talk about temple architecture, they can talk about rock cut architecture, यहाँ पे स्तूपा भी आ जाएगा, स्तूपा भी ले सकते हैं. ठीक है. So we have different types of the question on the architecture. I hope now you got the idea. So एक बार हम लोग PIQ देख लेते हैं, right? What were the important question that were asked by the UPSC, right? So you will have better idea. Okay. Now, if we talk about architecture, first question is rock cut architecture. Now understand, rock cut architecture already we have discussed. That is the cave architecture. You can talk about Chaitya and Vihara. Chaitya, Vihara. I hope you understand Chaitya, you understand Viharas. You can also talk about rock cut temples. for example, okay, for example, we have Kailash temple at Ellora is an example of rock cut temple. Okay, now most important source of early Indian art and the history. Okay, now what we have to write here, if you look at the question, rock cut architecture से हमें आर्ट के बारे में कैसे पता चलता है और इतिहास के बारे में. What do you mean by history here? As we have discussed, social history, okay, religious history, or we can say cultural history. Okay, clear cut? Now, if you have prepared well, easily you can write this question, right? Rock cut architecture, early Indian art. What do you mean by early Indian art? So again, you have to go timeline. Okay, जैसे for example, when we talk about rock cut architecture, you begin with the Maurya, then post Maurya, then Gupta period. Okay, then Gupta period. So this is what I said, general question. Okay, and in general question you have to take as many dimensions as possible. ठीक है, तो आसान हो जाएगा. अब इसमें अगर दो पॉइंट भी लेके आओगे तुम्हारा आराम से ये हो जाएगा. दिस इज व्हाट आस्क्ड बाय द यूपीएससी इन 2020. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू द आइडिया, देन आई विल कम बैक टू अदर सब्जेक्ट. सो दिस इज व्हाट आस्क्ड बाय द यूपीएससी इन 2020. अगेन व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट डेवलपमेंट ऑफ coins, we have very good coins during the ancient time by the Gupta. So we have Gupta coin is one of the important coin during the ancient time. When we talk about medieval, we also have good quality of coins that was issued by the Mughals. Okay, so the question is actually talking about कि Gupta coin was the best coin. So how will you approach this? Obviously you will highlight कि वो best भी था, but somewhere you will find out Mughals coins were better than the Gupta's coin. You got the idea? माइंडसेट समझ में आ गया. तो इस तरीके से इसको डेसिफर करना है, लिखना नहीं है, क्वेश्चन लिखना नहीं, खाली समझ लो. ये तो PIQs अवेलेबल है इजीली. ओके, फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि क्वेश्चन कैसे आते हैं, देन टॉपिक प्रिपेयर करो. डू नॉट ब्लाइंडली प्रिपेयर. ओके, and now discuss the significance of lion and bull. Okay, lion and bull in the Indian mythology. Okay, and then art and architecture. Is it general question or the specific one? Specific? No, it is general, because nobody can prepare you such type of question. Okay, so understand here, when we talk about lion and bull, okay, again they represent this symbol of strength. Okay, so strength, as a protector. In art and architecture they were represented as a protector. Fine. Indian mythology means what? Means here the symbol of lion and bull in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. The word Sikh actually comes from the word the Singh, brave. So again it's a brave community. Okay, again strength. Okay, so understand here, mythology basically here means you have to write about where do you see the symbol of lion and bull in Hinduism and what is the meaning of that symbol. Okay, Narsimha. What is Narsimha? Nar and Singh. Okay, again you got the idea. So that is Buddhism, again Jainism, Sikhism. Okay, in this way you see general question you will write by taking the dimensions. More you take the dimensions, more you will be comfortable. Okay, similarly look at here, art and architecture means what? Do you see any symbol of in the art and architecture of Indus Valley, Lion and Bull. Okay, Maurya, Sarnath pillar, right? Maurya, post Maurya, Gupta period, post Gupta. How much marks? 15. Easy to write. If you write even two points or even 1 points in one, you have written enough. And that is what we have to learn. See, 70 days. There is now you cannot read much. You have to develop the answer writing skills. And this general question will help, such type of question will appear in the UPSC. We have to work on those questions. And that is why PIQ is important. Because PI, बोलते दिमाग की बत्ती जला दे. PIQ, it's PIQ. Fine? All good? Okay. Now, so Tirthankar were represented by the lion and bull. Yeah, absolutely. Fine. If any one of you have any doubt, you can, write in the chat box as well. Okay. So this is all about architecture, right? Then painting. Painting, we have very limited syllabus. When we talk about painting, we have petroglyph painting, which we have discovered in the caves of Bhimbetka and the Adamgarh. All good? So this is what we call as a Mesolithic painting or cave painting. All good? So this is also called as a petroglyph. So UPSC will use the word petroglyph. Petroglyph means you create the painting by rubbing the surface. Okay? ये बनाना नहीं है. जैसे ये मैं यहाँ पे पेंट कर रहा हूँ. It is the, we can say mural painting or the miniature painting. But अगर मैं इसको खोद के अगर ऐसे बनाऊँ, that is what we call the petroglyph. All good? Okay. Now, so we have petroglyph painting here. Then we have painting during the Gupta period. This is called as a mural painting. Mural painting basically means the wall painting. And then we have, we do not have development of painting during the Delhi Sultanate. We do have development of painting during the Mughals. So again, Mughal painting is called as a miniature painting. That is the painting on any movable object. Fine. So it is called the miniature painting. What is mural painting? Painting on the walls of temple and all, right? Fine. And when Aurangzeb came to the throne, Aurangzeb basically he banned the painting, and therefore all the painters, they migrated to their respective area. And from Mughal we have development of Rajasthani painting. And then we have development of what we call as a Pahadi painting. Okay. So Mughal painting is important, and understand UPSC also have the tendency to ask the differences between the Mughal painting and the Rajasthani painting, because it's a Islamic painting, it's a Hindu painting. So what is the difference between the Mughal painting and the Rajasthani painting? It is also very, very important. हाँ, फोक पेंटिंग भी आएगा, बट फोक पेंटिंग पे ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन नहीं बनता. ठीक है, और न्यूज़ में है तो बन जाता है, अदरवाइज नहीं. Let me take few questions. Sir, time management is issue. It takes around 11 minutes for 10 marker. Harshvardhan, 11 minutes right now is not very bad. What you have to do, you have to speedify the process. Already आप 11 मिनट में लिख रहे हो. Make sure you reduce it to the 9 or 8 minutes. So that is quite possible, Harshvardhan. Okay. Right now 11 minutes is fine. Network is fluctuating from your side because your voice is breaking, your video is paused. I don't think so network की issue होगी. You can also check your network. I use. I guess network from our side is quite stable one. All good? Okay. Now, is this idea is clear? Painting. Now, they have already asked this petroglyph, Mesolithic painting. Okay. Now, either they will go for the painting development of painting during the Gupta. Okay, or they will go for the Mughal, or comparison between the Mughal and Rajasthani painting. Either of them can be important one. So painting is a very limited topic. We do not have to prepare many themes here. Fine? All good? Okay. So this is the second topic which we have to prepare. Next we have culture and heritage. Culture and heritage. Now understand, certain dynasty they contributed a lot to the development of heritage. Okay, बहुत सारी dynasty ने heritage के लिए बहुत काम किया है. For example, Maurya they contributed a lot to Indian heritage. Okay, then we have post Maurya, particularly Kusanas. Kusanas they contributed a lot. Then my own dynasty, Gupta, they also contributed, right? Then when we come to the medieval, if we come to the medieval, Cholas they contributed a lot, right? Cholas they are becoming very important nowadays. We have many questions from the Cholas. Then we have Delhi Sultanate. Vijayanagar is very, very important topic. Okay. Vijayanagar is very important, and then finally we have Mughal. So if Gupta is called as a golden period for art and culture during the ancient time, Mughal is called as a golden period for the art and culture during the medieval time. All good? So Mughal is also very important, and therefore now understand, we have certain question based on this dynasty, how they contributed to the culture and heritage of India. That is one. Suppose now if something is in the news as well, threat to the culture and heritage of India, then you can also expect the question on that. So again, this is the static theme, but heritage also remain in the current affairs. Therefore heritage is also very, very important one. I hope now you got the idea. Fine? Okay. Any? हेरिटेज में जैसे दो टाइप के क्वेश्चन आएंगे. एक तो डायनेस्टी ने कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट किया है कल्चर और हेरिटेज में, पहला. दूसरा, अगर हेरिटेज को कुछ थ्रेट है तो वो उसके बारे में करंट बेस जो होगा, जैसे इस समय हेरिटेज को लेके जो न्यूज़ में होगी कि क्या हम टूरिज्म बना सकते हैं हेरिटेज को, सो ऐसे जो या हेरिटेज को थ्रेट है, क्लाइमेट चेंज, हेरिटेज, तो ऐसे टॉपिक आ जाते हैं जो करंट बेस हो. ठीक है, मैं PIQ से डिस्कस कर लेता हूँ, डोंट वरी, तो आइडिया लग जाएगा. द रीजन टू डिस्कस द PIQ, इट विल हेल्प यू कि क्वेश्चन कैसे आते हैं, देन अकॉर्डिंगली यू कैन प्लान, राइट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मेन कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ गुप्ता पीरियड एंड द चोला to the heritage and culture. Okay. Now this question is very beautifully made by the UPSC. Gupta period, it is called as a classical age of India. Classical age of India. What do you mean by classical age? Classical age basically means the age that they gave the fundamental law, which was next carried out by the others. Okay. For example, temple. The beginning of temple architecture started from the Gupta. तो उन्होंने जो बताया आज टेम्पल उसी मॉडल पे बनते हैं. ठीक है. Now what about Cholas? They are called as a classical age of South India. Now look at how beautifully this question was framed. So we have classical age of India, we have classical age of South India, Cholas. All good? Again, this question was 15 mark. There is so much to write in this question. Okay. Indian heritage and culture. Culture, again, we have development in architecture, development in painting, development in sculpture, development in literature, music, dance, drama. You can write, as much as possible. For this, you will have very limited word, because you can write, the contribution of Gupta in, 250 words itself. The contribution of Cholas in 250 words itself. Okay, that is the one. Now, see, look at this 2018. What is the question that is given by UPSC? Safeguarding. Now, look at the nature. Safeguarding the Indian art and heritage is the need of the moment. Right? Now, अब इसका background क्या है sir? इसका background है the current affairs. There were lots of news with respect to the, the threat to the Indian heritage. And that therefore UPSC in that year, it is based on the current affairs. Okay? So heritage पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना है. And then this is, what is the important contribution that is made by the culture from the Indus Valley civilization. Okay? तो ये उस तरीके से है कि whatever the culture that was developed by the Indus Valley, how it was continued by the other culture. So that is what they have asked. So in this way we have very important area, culture and the heritage. Fine. All good? Culture and heritage. Then next we have cultural diversity or miscellaneous part, right? Miscellaneous part. Now, miscellaneous part, now understand here, religion, philosophy, this is very, very important topic. In last 9 years or 9 or 10 years, we have approximately 8 to 9 questions from the religion and philosophy. Almost one question every year. Okay? For example, religion, Buddhism, okay, obviously the philosophy of Buddhism as well. Then we have Jainism, then we have Hinduism. See, traditionally Buddhism used to be a very important topic. In mains, traditionally we used to have many questions from the Buddhism. But with the arrival of Honorable PM Modi, now Hinduism have also taken the center stage. So when we talk about Hinduism, we have Bhakti movement. Bhakti. That is very, very important. Here you hear the name of Sankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, many Acharya, they also contributed. And then we have, Nirgun Bhakti sent like Kabir, Guru Nanak. We have Sagun Bhakti sent like Tulsidas, like, Surdas, and so on. Mirabai, so on. All good? So understand here, Buddhism traditionally was important. But now on the basis of recent trend, Hinduism is becoming important. All good? So ये दो topics से chances ज़्यादा है. Similarly, we have literature के बारे में हम लोग बात करेंगे. Folk art और tradition यहाँ पे है. So let's try to go through the PIQ. Okay. Now, look at here. This is a beautiful question. Stup. So how, understand, the question is how stup architecture propagate the philosophy of Buddhism. Philosophy of Buddhism. See, such question is dependent on your understanding. For example, we have stupa. We have semi-spherical dome. We have Harmika. We have Yasti. We have Vedika, close, and then we have the Toran, 4 gateway from the 4. So what is the important philosophy that is propagated by this stupa? How it propagate the philosophy of Buddhism. Every architecture represents certain philosophy, and therefore this is very, very important. Stup, fine, all good. So देखो ये पूछा हुआ है. आप इस बार ये पूछ सकते हैं कि how the temple architecture propagate the philosophy of Hinduism, right? Because every, for example, now understand here, when we talk about temple architecture, we have Shikhar, you know, this part of temple is called as a Sikhar. What is the meaning of Sikhar? What is the philosophy behind Sikhar? What it represent? It represent the mountain. Understand? Mountain. Now you will say, sir, what do you mean by mountain? Mountain basically means this is the abode of God. It's a, you know, what is the place of God? In Hinduism, the place of God is mountain. And the mountain is actually represented by the Sikhar because temple is a abode of God. You got the idea? So understand, every architecture propagates certain philosophy. So already they have asked how stupa propagate the Buddhist philosophy. Any given year, temple architecture, the philosophy of Hinduism. All good? Done? Okay. Now, then we have Gandhara, Gandhara art. This is one of the favorite of UPSC. 2013 they have also asked the Gandhara art. 2019 same question. So again Gandhara art is very very important and this is the topic we will cover. ठीक है, ये हम लोग कवर करेंगे. हम लोग स्तूपास भी कवर करेंगे, टेम्पल आर्किटेक्चर भी कवर कर लेंगे. Okay, and then Bhakti, as I said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the news that year, 2019. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, what is the contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Bhakti? How he evolved the new features of Bhakti. So again, this is current affairs based, but again, Bhakti is nowadays in the news and therefore Bhakti can be an important topic. ठीक है, जैसे लिंगायत न्यूज में रहा है, so Lingayat is a part of the Bhakti movement, so that can be an important topic. Am I clear? All good? Fine. If they are in the news, अगर न्यूज में नहीं है तो स्पेसिफिक नहीं पूछते, वो जनरल पूछेंगे. बिकॉज एज आई सेड कि क्वेश्चन अगर तुम देखोगे तो बहुत स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन कम है. जनरल जो सोचना पड़े, जिसको डायमेंशंस बनाना पड़े और फिर लिखना पड़े, वैसे क्वेश्चन आर्ट एंड कल्चर में ज़्यादा आते हैं. जो हम डायरेक्टली प्रिपेयर करके जाते हैं ना, उनके चांसेस कंपेरेटिवली कम होते हैं. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि नहीं आते हैं, कंपेरेटिवली कम होते हैं. जैसे गंधारा आर्ट ये पॉपुलर है, इसके चांसेस रिपीट होने के बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. बिकॉज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ आइडल वर्शिप इन इंडिया वॉज एक्चुअली बिगन बाय द गंधारा आर्ट. तो ये आइडल वर्शिप इज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर ऑफ हिंदुइज्म एंड देयरफॉर इट इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी इम्पॉर्टेंट. अभी जैसे लॉर्ड रामा का जो स्कल्पचर बनाया है, अगर मैं इतिहास में जाके ढूंढने की कोशिश करूँ कहाँ से शुरुआत हुई, गंधारा आर्ट. सो अगेन दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ऑल गुड? ओके. So this is all about religion and philosophy. And then last we have again literature. As I said, last but not the least, last but not the least, literature. When we talk about literature, see, we have literature that is written by the Indians, right? Indians ki literature ko further you can divide ancient literature, medieval, and then modern. Ancient and medieval is important. Modern literature is not that much important. Then we also have literature that is written by the foreigners. Like we have, initially Chinese scholars, Faiyan, Ensang, Itzing. They came to India. They wrote about India. So Chinese scholars. Then we also have Greek scholars like Megasthenes. And we have Arab scholars like Al-Biruni. They came to India, they saw India, they wrote about India, and again, again you can also have the question on those topics. Like, how can you understand the Indian society or culture on the on the lenses of the Greek literature or Greek writer, Chinese writer, Arab writer. ठीक है, तो इन्होंने हमें कैसे हमारी सोसाइटी के बारे में बताया, ये इंपॉर्टेंट एरेना है. आई होप नाउ यू दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर. ओके, फाइन. लिटरेचर इज बिकमिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नाउ इट इज. ओके, Like, look at this. What is medieval literature? For example, what is the court language of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals? Persian. So Persian, now understand, Persian literature, how it highlight the spirit of the age. Again, what do you mean by spirit? Society, social life, society of medieval period, then cultural life, and then religious life. Okay. Obviously, on the basis of all three, you have to write on the basis of the Persian literary sources. ठीक है. जैसे अगर मैं स्टार्ट करूँगा तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल कि अगर जैसे किसी राइटर ने बताया है तो वहाँ पे सोशल लाइफ क्या थी, कल्चरल लाइफ क्या थी और रिलीजियस लाइफ क्या थी. तो लिटरेचर को ध्यान में रख के लिखना है. दिस इज जनरल क्वेश्चन. एज आई सेड, nobody can prepare you such question. Like, there is a possibility. इस साल अगर वो पूछ ले कि now ancient literature highlight the social life of the ancient time. और फॉर एग्जाम्पल वो ये भी पूछ सकते हैं कि संगम लिटरेचर. संगम लिटरेचर, वी नो दैट संगम लिटरेचर हाईलाइट द सोशल लाइफ, सोशल एंड कल्चरल लाइफ ऑफ द साउथ इंडिया और अर्ली साउथ इंडिया. सो ऐसे क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. ओके, सो ये थीम उस तरीके से इंपॉर्टेंट है. ऑल गुड. Then we have very important king, Krishna Dev Rai. Vijayanagar, very important one. There were Ashtadiggaj, okay, who used to sit in the Krishna Dev Rai court, and they contributed a lot to the development of learning and the literature. Very important. Basically, what is the contribution in Telugu literature, Sanskrit literature, and Tamil literature? So this is the dimensions you have to take. Okay. So again, we have great promotion of Telugu literature by the KDR, that is the Krishna Dev Rai. So यहाँ पे कौन सा टेक्स्ट लिखे गए, यहाँ पे कौन सा टेक्स्ट लिखे गए, यहाँ पे जैसे जाम्बवती कल्याणम is a text written by the Krishna Dev Rai. Okay, that is in Sanskrit. तो थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में 2 लाइन लिख देना है. ठीक है, ऐसे. All good. ये important है. The Vijayanagar is very, very important. Do not leave the Vijayanagar. Vijayanagar is very, very important. All good? Can I proceed? Okay. Then again, Chinese and the Arab travelers about the, history of India. So what they basically talked about the social life, cultural life of the Indians. Again, simple. If you have good understanding of the syllabus, you know what they are going to ask. And that is where the PIQs plays very, very important role. All good. Most of the aspirant, they prepare it in a factual manner. ठीक है, रट्टा मार रहे factual चीजों को. ऐसे नहीं आएगा. You have to go through the PIQs. And that is the reason I started with the second important topic, PIQ. So I have discussed the basic meaning. I hope now that is clear. I have gone through the various PIQ and how one should prioritize the preparation of art and culture. ठीक है, blindly prepare नहीं करना है. You have to go through the certain basic law. Okay. Now we will begin certain advanced topic, and I am sure you have not prepared those topic. Last year, understand. Last year there was a question. Development of science and technology during the Delhi Sultanate. This was the question they have asked in 2023. Okay. Now, science and technology, again miscellaneous topic. Okay. And this is very important topic और ज़्यादा पढ़ना नहीं है यहाँ पे. So we have development of science and technology during the Delhi Sultanate. We also have development of science and technology during the Indus Valley, Harappan, and also during the Gupta period. And I do have the intuition that either of them, come to the, will appear in the UPSC. So last year they have talked about Delhi Sultanate. This year they can go for the Indus Valley because Indus Valley continuously news mein hai, and obviously with respect to their science and development. So quite possible. You got the idea? So again, this is not the kind of material that is very easily available, and I hope you have not prepared this, right? So isko kar lete. If that question comes, it's a jackpot. Fine. Give the heading: growth of science and technology. Growth of science and technology during the Indus Valley. All good. Now, during the Indus Valley. So when we talk about Hadappans, understand, Hadappans were quite advanced in science and technology as well. Okay. Quite advanced in science and technology as well. So, as all of you know, Harappa was the first urbanization of India. They represented a very civilized way of life. They were also very advanced in science and technology. Okay. So, we have lots of development in science and technology. Okay. Now, let's talk about their knowledge in maths. Their knowledge in maths, and we can say geometry. Okay. Now, let's talk about number system. Number system. When do you see the beginning of number system in India? Earlier, it was believed that it is from the Mauryan time. Okay. Earlier it was the idea, earlier the scholars used to believe that the number system actually began from the Maurya. But now it is proven that the number system actually was not begun by the Maurya, but by the Indus Valley civilization. Okay. Just I give you a very, okay. Have you heard about this multiple of 16? Multiple of 16. In the number system is, in India was based on the multiple of 16. What is multiple of 16? 16 as a base, 32 second number, 48 third number. So what do you mean by this 16? Have you heard 4 ana? What is 4 ana? 4 ana, now understand, 4 ana is 25 paise. That means 1/4. Right? Then 8 ana, 1/2. Then 12 ana and then 16 ana. What is 16 ana? Is equal to 1. So 1 rupee is equal to 16. This is what we call the multiple of 16. Don't write, I will give you the entire writing. Understand first. So understand this multiple of 16 was actually part of Indian culture, and this was actually begun by the Hadappans. So when we talk about their maths knowledge, their geometry knowledge, it was quite advanced. The beginning of number system was actually begun by the, Indus Valley people, and we have the example of, multiple of 16 which they have used at the multiple level. जैसे उनके जो वजन करने का वेट का जो होगा वहाँ पे भी मल्टीपल ऑफ 16 का यूज़ होगा. हमारे जो कॉइनेज सिस्टम है उसमें मल्टीपल ऑफ 16 है. अगेन जो वेटिंग सिस्टम है जो हम तराजू पे तौलते हैं, अगेन इट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन द मल्टीपल ऑफ 16. ऑल गुड. In fact you will find out when we talk about the brick, so the proportion was uniform. When we talk about brick, it is 4:2:1. That also highlight that they had a quite advanced geometry and the maths. Am I clear? Okay. So this is what you have to write down here. Okay. So when we talk about Hadappans, they had a quite advanced knowledge in the geometry and the mathematics. For example, earlier view, the number system was, first time used in the Ashokan inscriptions. But what is the modern view? Hadappans were the first, person to use the numbers. It is not the Ashoka. And this is what we see, multiple of 16 in the calculation, and all their measurement, and the weighting system is again developed on the what we call as a multiples of 16. Okay. Even you can write the brick, brick system, brick. It is not given here, but you can write it down in the ratio of 4:2:1. Then again highlight the development of maths and the geometry. Okay, sure, Haswardhan, I will keep that in mind. All good? Clear? So I hope now you got the idea. So earlier view ki number system kabhi se chalu hua tha? Ashoka. But now it is the, okay, and we have lots of example, brick 4:2:1, multiple of 16, जो उनका weighting system था, weight करने वाला, again this is based on the multiple of 16. Done? All good? So, I don't think so it is given in the Nitin Singhania. Okay? So, it is also not given in the Nitin Singhania. Okay. Now, when we talk about again the Hadappans, they use the scales. Scale, you know that, right? So, Hadappans, they use the scale to measure the length. Now, you will say, sir, how do you know? Okay. So, we have discovered the scale that is made from different object from Hadappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal. Okay, तो हमें स्केल्स मिले हैं जहाँ पे हमें दिख रहा है कि वो मेजरमेंट के लिए यूज किया करते थे. Okay, so this is what you have to write it down. The archaeologists, they have discovered this scale. Okay, and all of scale, that means they had the knowledge of number, geometry, and the maths. Right. This is made from this cell. This is made from the bronze, ivory. And this is what we have discovered from Mohenjo-daro, Hadappa, and the Lothal. So the scales which we have discovered from the Mohenjo-daro, Hadappa, and Lothal highlight that they had a knowledge of maths and so on. Done? All good? Fine. This is the second. And now, next. See, when we talk about Hadappan town planning, okay, I hope all of you have read about town planning, right? Town planning. See, one of the important features of the Hadappa is their town planning. They had, they used to plan the creation of town. That's very surprising, because given the timeline of the Hadappa, it's a very old civilization. So what we see, the western part, they used to create this citadel, okay, and in the eastern part we have lower town. All good? And understand, it is very beautifully planned. Understand, it is very beautifully planned. So now tell me, is this town planning is possible without the having good knowledge about the geometry or maths? No. So for the creation of town, you know, you have to measure various things, and therefore their town planning gives us the idea that they had a very good knowledge of, you know, maths as well. Fine. So this is what we have to write it down. Okay. So their advanced town planning gives us the hint of the advanced geometrical knowledge which they possess. And already we have wrote about the brick. So their brick had a uniform proportion of 4:2:1. That also highlight they had a good geometrical knowledge. Fine. So town planning, knowledge of geometry. Again, we have brick. Again, proportion of 4:2:1, highlight the knowledge of geometry. Fine? All good? Okay. Next we have, I hope now this point is clear. Next we have now, Harappan age is called as a, now understand, Harappan age is called as a Bronze age. What is Bronze age? What is bronze? Is it a metal or the alloy? Alloy. What is alloy? Mixture of two, right? So it is a mixture of copper, tin, right? So can I say they had the knowledge of, they knew to mix two metals and create an alloy. For example, now we have a very famous statue, world, this is the world famous statue. This is called as a, dancing girl. And this, sculpture is created on the basis of the method of lost wax method. So understand this, this highlight their expertise in the field of the metals. Mixing two metal and then producing the alloy, then using the lost wax method to create the sculpture, that highlight their knowledge of metal. I hope now this point is clear. Fine? Is this clear? Okay. So just write it down now. Write it down. Harappans were acquainted with the copper and the bronze smelting, right? Smelting, right? So apart from the copper and tin, they used to mix the nickel, lead, arsenic, other metals. What is the purpose of mixing the copper with the tin? Why they used to mix it? To make it very more powerful, right? Because copper is a very not so powerful metal. So they used to mix the tin to make it powerful. So that is what we have bronze. But apart from the bronze, they also used to mix the nickel, lead and the arsenic to again make it what? More stronger alloy. Because iron was not discovered till now, right? Done? All good? Okay. Fine. So they had a advanced knowledge of, fine, all good? Okay. Now, next we have knowledge of medicine. Any important observation in the picture? Is it visible? Is it visible? Not much. Okay. Now, if you look at, there are skeleton here. Okay. And see, do Harappans were acquainted with the surgery? Yes, they do. ठीक है. ये दो बच्चों की इमें skeleton मिले सर की वो और वहाँ पे सर्जरी, उन मतलब एक चोट है और चोट पे सर्जरी परफॉर्म की है. So, on the basis of skeleton, two child skeleton which we have discovered, we come to know that they knew about the surgery. So again, what do you mean by that? They had a good knowledge of medicine. Okay. So, two child skeleton with this surgical mark on their skull again have been found from the Kalibangan and the Lothal, and that highlight their expertise in the field of medicine. Okay. Two child skeleton with the surgical mark on their skulls have been found from the Kalibangan and the Lothal. So Indian surgical knowledge goes goes back to the Neolithic as well, okay, including the Harappan. So they had the knowledge of surgery. Okay. Now understand, from Harappa we have two stone sculpture. Okay. From Harappa we have two stone sculpture, and understand जो sculpture का मतलब है, you know that मूर्ति, right? So understand here, वो जो जो मूर्ति बनाई गई है उसमें जो ह्यूमन एनाटॉमी, what is human anatomy? The body parts were very well presented. That means they had the knowledge of various parts of the body, and that is also again their expertise in the fields of medicine. All good? So that is what you will write it down. Okay, write down. Two stone sculpture discovered from the Harappa highlight or illustrate that Harappan had a keen sense of human anatomy. Done. So again, this is all about the development of science and technology. Science and technology, maths is a part of science and technology. So science and technology during the Indus Valley civilization. Moreover, it is not given in any of the book like Nitin Singhania and so on. If any given year UPSC give it, obviously you will be at the advantage. Done. All good. So this is the first part. Let's move to the again one of the classical area. Again we have sculpture, and when we talk about sculpture, understand the beginning of sculpture, from the sense of idol worship. Okay, from the sense of idol worship means making the statue and worshipping that idea actually began from the post Maurya. Okay, post Maurya, and in the post Maurya this idea was actually begun by the Greek who established the Gandhara art. Okay, Gandhara art. Okay. Now basically initially we have the images of Gautam Buddha, and Gautam Buddha would be worshipped as a idol, right? And from this Gandhara, understand, from this Gandhara art we have the development of Mathura and then Amravati. Okay. So this idea of creating the idol for the religious worship was actually begun by the Gandhara. All good? So when we talk about post-Maurya, in post-Maurya we have three schools of sculpture. We have Gandhara, we have Mathura, we have Amravati. As I said, from our exam point of view, Gandhara is very very important. ठीक है, यहाँ से बहुत क्वेश्चन आता है और यूपीएससी का फेवरेट है. Now you will say, sir, why it is the favorite of UPSC? It is the favorite of UPSC because the concept of idol worship was actually begun by the Gandhara. Okay, all good. So यहाँ से हमारा जो हम लोग कहते हैं ना, यहाँ से हमारा idol worship in true sense actually began. But understand, when we talk about Gandhara, is it based on the Indian culture, Indian tradition, Indian art? No. See, this is based on the what we call as a Greco-Roman culture. What do you mean by Greco-Roman culture? See, there is a, just understand, don't try, just understand. Everything you will get. There is a concept of what we call as an anthropomorphic tradition. What is anthropomorphic tradition? What is anthro? Human being. Morphic, creating the images, morph, right? Now, understand, what is anthropomorphic? Giving the character of human to God and then creating their idol and then performing the idol worship. So this idea of anthropomorphic tradition, ये इंडिया में आया कहाँ से? Because पहले नहीं था. Idol worship का जो आज हम concept देखते हैं, this concept was actually brought by the Greek person, or we can say Roman. What used to happen, understand, in Greek and Roman Empire, there was a, Apollo god. Who is Apollo god? The moon god. Moon god means the most beautiful god. So, the what Greek and Roman people used to do, they used to create the idol of, Apollo, and then they used to worship the, various god. So this idea of creating the sculpture of God and then worshipping them was actually followed by the Greco-Roman people. And when Greek came to India, they brought this idea of creating the idol and worshipping them. So Gautam Buddha, who is Gautam Buddha in the Gandhara art? Gautam Buddha is more like a Apollo god. He will have curly hair, he will have long nose, big ear. These are the features of not Indian person. These are the features of what we call as a Greco-Roman. Okay, so that is why Gandhara art is very important. We have twice they have asked the Gandhara art, and last year they have asked the Gandhara art in the optional, history optional. They love Gandhara art so much that last year GS में नहीं पूछ पाए तो उन्होंने optional में पूछ दिया. And therefore Gandhara art is very important. And what is the theme? In all three, the theme is same. What is the Greco-Roman features in the Gandhara art? Is it given in the book? It is not given in the book. Nitin Singhania do not cover such a topic. All good? So ये topic को हम लोग यहाँ से करेंगे. All good? Fine. वो मतलब स्कल्पचर जो थे वो आइडल वर्शिप वाले स्कल्पचर नहीं थे. मतलब जैसे जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना मूर्ति पूजा, हर मूर्ति पूजा के लिए नहीं बनाई जाती. तो पहले स्कल्पचर होना, आइडल होना और आइडल को स्टैचू होना और स्टैचू को आइडल का दर्जा देना, ऐसा नहीं है. टेम्पल में रखना, टेम्पल में रख के वर्शिप करना, ये आइडिया बाद में आया. पहले यहाँ पे आइडल वर्शिप आएगा, फिर उसके बाद टेम्पल. तो गुप्ता पीरियड में हमें देखने को मिलेगा टेम्पल आर्किटेक्चर की शुरुआत होगी. पहले ये आइडिया थोड़ी सी डिस्प्यूटेड आइडियाज है, कि लाइक द क्रिएटिंग द आइडल एंड देन वर्शिपिंग देम. वो उस तरीके का नॉलेज जो आज हम देखते हैं वो पोस्ट मौर्य और गुप्ता से माना जाता है. उसके पहले के स्कल्पचर उनको हम थोड़ा अलग कैरेक्टर से देखते हैं. गॉड मतलब जैसे भी फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव प्राण प्रतिष्ठान. व्हाट इज प्राण प्रतिष्ठान? बेसिकली व्हेन यू क्रिएट द आइडल देन यू डू सर्टेन सेक्रीफाइसेस. ठीक है, हवन करेंगे एंड देन यू इन्वोक द गॉड कि इट इज नाउ स्टैचू, इट इज जस्ट द स्टोन, In Pran Pratishthan, basically you appeal to the god, please come and reside into the sculpture. And therefore now we call this murti as a arch murti. And now it is going to be called as a, arch murti, मतलब जिसको सजीव भी कहते हैं इसको. सजीव मतलब now it's a living being because God is residing in that sculpture. So arch murti basically means जिसकी अर्चना होती है, जिसकी पूजा होती है. Not all idol is worshipped. You got the idea? So this idea was actually begun from the post Maurya, and then in Gupta period we have temple architecture. Clear? All good? So we have three types of these schools: Gandhara, Mathura, right? Done? I have prepared a question. Okay. This is like Gandhara school of art was as much in depth to the Roman as it was to the Greek. Same idea, same theme. Again, I have used a different word. What is the Greco-Roman influence on the Gandhara art? So, Gandhara school of art was as much in depth to the Romans as it was to the Greek. See, even I have prepared the question on the same line. And that is what I said. The theme is going to be the same. Only the words is going to be changed. Same words they will repeat again and again. Fine. So that is what you have to understand. Because एक ही क्वेश्चन बनता है यहाँ पे और कुछ बनता ही नहीं. गंधारा की जब बात करेंगे तो वही बनता है कि ग्रीक को कल्चर क्या है, रोमन कल्चर क्या है, and unfortunately it is not given in the book. So therefore, it is going to be important. So when we talk about Gandhara school, understand, we have two features. Gandhara school is inspired by the two features. For example, इसको यहाँ पे देख लो, ये गौतम बुद्धा का image दिख रहा होगा, right? So you have curly hairs, you have big nose, big ear. Look at this cloth. It is not the Indian cloth, right? If you look at the, we also have many things that is not Indian in nature. So Gautam Buddha is more like a Greco-Roman person in the Gandhara art. In Mathura, he is more like an Indian person. Okay, so that is what we have to understand. So what is the Greco features? What is the Roman features? Now, what is Greco features? The anatomy. What is anatomy? The design of body. So human anatomy they have borrowed from the Greek. While the ornamentation, decoration part, they have borrowed from the Roman. Like this dress. This is called the drapery. So this drapery is actually the Roman. The Roman king used to wear this kind of dress. So this is what we call the drapery, and this is from. So understand here what I am trying to highlight. The creation of body is based on the Greek culture, while the drapery or the ornamentation, decoration part is borrowed from the. Right? You got the idea? Okay. This is what we will cover here. Okay. So what is the what is the Greek influence? What is the Greek influence? The human anatomy. The making the body beautiful. Again, this is the, borrowed from the Greek traditions. Like, who is Apollo god? Chand. Chandini. What do you mean by Chand, Chandini? The beautiful person. Say your girlfriend, कि तू मेरी चांदनी हो. What do you mean by that? You're the most beautiful. Or तू मेरे चांद हो. Again, that is the idea. Fine? Greek influence. And then Roman influence, ornamentation. Like drapery, the design, So those actually represent the Roman influence. Okay. Now, uh, fine. Can I proceed? So now we will discuss the Greek. What is the Greek contribution to the Gandhara art, and then we will discuss what is the Roman contribution to the Gandhara art. ठीक है? So ये framework में जाना है. What is the Greek, and then what is the Roman contribution? Fine. Now let's begin with the heading. What is the Greek influence on the Gandhara? Now, who is Indra? Who is Indra? Yeah, he is a war god, right? ठीक है? Okay. Who would lead to the various god in the battle? Indra. Now, what about Greek? If we talk about, this is India, right? What about Greek god? Who is the war god in Greek? Alexander was inspired by the Heracles. Yeah. So who is Heracles? Understand? He is a war god. Means he is a war god means who is a protector. Like who protect the all god? It is the Indra. It is his responsibility to protect the all god from the enemies. Right? So who is the Heracles? He is a war god. Now, suppose you have Gautam Buddha, and who is the protector of Gautam Buddha in the sculpture of Gandhara? It is the Heracles. Okay? So you have Gautam Buddha, the sculpture of Gautam Buddha. At the behind of Gautam Buddha, we have this sculpture of Heracles. तो ये कहाँ से आया? See, understand here. There is a Apollo god. Apollo god के पीछे we have Heracles as a protector of Apollo. See, this is what used to happen in Greek, right? In Gandhara, what happened? In Gandhara, we have Gautam Buddha, and Gautam Buddha was protected by Heracles. From where this idea actually came? You got the idea? So that is what the first point you have to, So see, most of the notes will talk about just one dimensions, but in the class I will give you many dimensions. Most of the notes you will read, they will talk about just one thing. Curly hair, this this. That is just one point. Human anatomy. Okay, we will talk about many dimensions. As I said, first Greek god, that is the Heracles as a protector. In many images of Gautam Buddha in Gandhara, God, Gautam Buddha was under the protection of Greek god Heracles. First point clear? So, God Hercules as a protector of the Gautam Buddha. Again, this idea was borrowed from the Greek culture. Okay, fine. Now, see, who is future? When we talk about see, Hercules god, that is the war god, he used to carry a weapon. Obviously, he is a war god, so he will carry the weapon. And what is the weapon he used to carry? This is called as a Vajra Pani. Vajra, all of weapon. Okay, fine. So now, this is what used to happen in the Greek culture. So the Hercules god will have the weapon called as a Vajra Pani. Now, who is the future Buddha? Maitreya. Maitreya is called as a future Buddha, right? So in the hands of the Maitreya, that is the Gautam Buddha, we have the weapon called as a Vajrapani. So from where this idea came? Again, Greek. You got the idea? So this is all, again also borrowed from the Greek. So, and believe me, you won't find all these points in any of the Nitin Singhania or any other classes. These are exclusive, I have read the book and then I have created the points. All good. So Vajrapani found in the right hand of the future Buddha, that is the Maitreya, is a symbol of the Hercules. Okay. So this was actually carried out by the Hercules. Done? All good? Now, second point, Vajra Pani. Now, when we talk about Gautam Buddha is, we can talk about Gautam Buddha is, sculpted as a like Apollo god. Apollo god, as I said, was the most beautiful god, in the Greek culture. So, when we talk about the sculpture of Gautam Buddha, it will look like as a Apollo god. Okay. So obviously it is borrowed from the, okay, pehla. Dusra, you will find out Gautam Buddha is going to have curly hairs. So this curly hairs, if we talk about Indians generally have this straight hair. Okay. So here we have curly hairs. Then we have bigger nose. We have long ears. Indian के मतलब medium size होते हैं, नाक भी ठीक ठाक ही होती है, बड़ी नहीं होती. So understand, creating the, sculpture of Gautam Buddha on the lines of Apollo, creating the curly hairs, which was the features of the Greek people, creating the, long nose, long ear, again it was the features of the Greek people. So from where this idea came? Again, Greek. Fine. So this is what we have to understand. So we have artistic beauty is taken from the Greek, like Apollo-like face of the Gautam Buddha, the curly hairs, the long ear, the long nose. This resemble the Hellenistic. Hellenistic basically means the Greek culture. Hellenistic basically means the Greek culture. All good? This is the one point is elaborated by many people. All good. So we have discussed 3 points. Greek god Hercules as a protector of Gautam Buddha, Vajrapani, and then we have talked about the artistic beauty. Okay. Now, look at this. What is this? Is it visible? There is a sculpture of Gautam Buddha, and then you have, this is what we call as a halo. Halo. What does this halo represent actually? Knowledge. You have the knowledge of universe. Okay. कहाँ से लिया ये? गौतम बुद्धा के पीछे जो वो दिखता है ना चक्र, वो कहाँ से आया? That basically highlight the intellectual development. Means you know everything. That is the intellectual. Intellectual means what? One who knows many things. So what does this hollow represent? Hello. It represent the intellectual development. So ये कहाँ से आया? Again this is borrowed from the Greco culture. Am I clear? So understand the halo and burn in the Gandhara, images. Again, it is borrowed from the Greek culture, and this highlight the intellectual development. Okay, all good? Okay, now then we have, see, there is a plaster that we have used. It is called as a stucco plaster. So while creating this sculpture, for decoration, understand, for decoration we have used a material called as a stucco plaster. And this stucco plaster is basically used in the Greek. So this use of stucco plaster to create the decoration, again it was the features of the Greek culture. Fine. See, I have covered everything now, from material to weapon to Greek god Hercules as a protector to the artistic beauty. We have covered all the dimensions. ठीक है, अगर ये क्वेश्चन आ गया, इतना क्वालिटी आंसर्स कोई लिख नहीं सकता. Because today the people read Nitin Singhania, we used to read the proper text. That is the difference. All good? So this is all about Greco culture. Okay. So what we have discovered, 5 points. Greek god Hercules as a protector. Then we have talked about second point, Vajrapani. Then we have talked about artistic beauty. Then we have talked about hollow and burn. And then finally we have talked about the stucco plaster. Okay, easy. One more revision, you will be comfortable. Fine. Okay. Now, what about Roman? Okay, this is the Roman king. Look at the drapery, right? Is it the same drapery wear by the Gautam Buddha? Yes. So ये जो गौतम बुद्धा ने कपड़े पहन रखे हैं, ये कहाँ से आया? This is from the Roman art. Okay. So drapery on Gautam Buddha's garment similar to the Roman imperial monument. Okay, that is wore by the Roman king. Done? All good? And then what about anthropomorphic tradition? Do you recall anthropomorphic tradition? Creating the images of God on the lines of human being. For example, we have created the images of Lord Rama. Obviously, nobody have seen the Lord Rama. So we believe that Lord Rama looks like this, and then we have created this beautiful sculpture of Lord Rama, right, in the Ayodhya temple. So again, this is what we call the anthropomorphic tradition. So this idea came to India from Roman. All good? So understand, the Gandhara artist, this Romans religion's anthropomorphic tradition. Okay. Gandhara artists were inspired by the Roman religion's anthropomorphic tradition. Now you know that what do you mean by anthropomorphic tradition? Again, creation of God or the sculpture of God on the lines of the human being. All good? Done? And then finally we have Gandhara art depict the Gautam Buddha on the lines of the Apollo god. Again, this is also borrowed from the Roman. See, ये दोनों में लिख सकते हो, ये पॉइंट दोनों में आएगा, but make sure you write in the Roman, क्योंकि रोमन में पॉइंट्स कम है. We have many points from the Greek. So अगर पॉइंट कम है तो make sure you write. The youthful stage of the Apollo is actually borrowed from the Gandhara art. So Gautam Buddha on the line, the sculpture of Gautam Buddha was created on the lines of Apollo god. Apollo god, most beautiful god, and that is why the images of Gandhara looks very beautiful. For example, if you look at the Gautam Buddha, the focus is on the, again, making Gautam Buddha looks very good. Human anatomy, which we have discussed. अगर हाथ बनाया तो हाथ ऐसा लगे कि ना attractive हो. नोज बनाया है तो अट्रैक्टिव हो, बाल बनाए हैं तो अट्रैक्टिव हो. सो द फोकस इज ऑन द ह्यूमन एनाटॉमी. अगेन ये कहां से आया? रोमन एम्पायर. Done? Okay. So this is for today. This is well, I mean, this is enough for today. We'll continue in the one more lecture for art and culture, but that one lecture we will cover on 10th. From tomorrow we have the polity lecture that will be taken by the RP sir. Okay. So from tomorrow RP sir is going to carry forward the advance. We have just one more lecture for the art and culture, and I will cover the remaining advanced topic which you require for the mains point of view. Advanced point of view. I have covered 2 topics today. I will cover a few more topics on the 10th. Fine. And I have already given how to prepare. So start writing. Start writing the questions on the art and culture. And moreover, why questions on art and culture matter? GS1, first few questions will come from the art and culture, and first we say first impression is the sometime last impression. So make sure you have the good impression in the minds of the examiner. All good? Any question? Fine. Thank you very much.